We're less than 2 weeks to go before all domestic football returns. Attention turning to the January transfer window. Dharmesh Sheth is here to chat about it, and you've got some new information for us on Manchester United and West Ham. Big question, how are Manchester United going to approach this winter window?
Yeah, it's interesting actually, David, because the build-up to the transfer window has been dominated by a certain Cristiano Ronaldo. And before he'd left, I was told that Manchester United weren't expecting to be busy during the transfer window, but there would be the issue of Cristiano Ronaldo to solve one way or the other. That's got solved well before the start of the January transfer window. It's my information that United are looking at forward players and at right-backs, but there is a significant chance that they will not sign anyone at all in this January transfer window. I've been told that PSV Eindhoven's Cody Gakpo, who impressed so much during the World Cup, is one of a few forward players that Manchester United have been looking at. You'll remember they held talks over signing Gakpo over the summer, but then when Antony became more affordable as far as United were concerned, because he was always their first choice, they ended up pursuing Antony. Now, it is interesting to note that Erik ten Hag has said the following, that United want to bring in a forward, but only when we find the right player. That's because United are very wary of valuations, not only because when a Premier League club goes into the market with a foreign club, the foreign club's eyes light up because they think they can charge more. That's one factor. Factor number two, it's always difficult doing business during a January transfer window. So put those two together and the price will go up. Add to that, we've got a unique situation where players may have used the World Cup in a unique time. It's never happened at this point before a January transfer window as a shop window. So those three factors suddenly boost any kind of price for some of these players much higher than probably teams are prepared to pay. Now, the Gakpo situation is such that the PSV Eindhoven director of football, Marcel Brands, has been asked about Cody Gakpo, and he won't rule out Cody Gakpo leaving. But what he did say is that it must be a record transfer for PSV for him to leave. Now, if you go back to the summer, United spent over £200 million in the summer. So aside of whether they want to bring in players during January, they're very conscious of complying with financial fair play rules. So I think United, there's every chance they won't sign anyone in the January transfer window. I know that's not what Manchester United fans might want to hear, but I think there's a long-term strategy in place with United and a lot of the clubs where they always seem to focus on the summer transfer window, and January's almost looked at as an emergency option. And I don't think United are at that stage where it's an emergency option. That's not to say they won't bring anyone in. They could use the loan window as well. Another position that they're looking at is the right-back area. They were looking at the right-back area in the summer as well, but rather like the summer, it's all going to depend on the future of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, he doesn't seem to be in Erik ten Hag's plans at all. He's played 4 minutes of football in all competitions so far this season. Obviously, he's not going to be involved, you would think. If they can find a suitor for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, then it's likely then that they might go into the market for a right-back, and they're looking at a number of them. OK, all right, ifs, buts and maybes, really. But you mentioned forwards before. Speaking of forwards, Jadon Sancho, what's the situation with him at the moment, and how soon might we see him on the pitch? No timescale on when he is going to return. He started the season so well, didn't he? That goal against Liverpool, a good performance against Arsenal, who scored the winner against Leicester City as well. There are quotes from Erik ten Hag in this morning's newspapers where he said, look, there are mental and physical issues that we need to get over with Jadon Sancho, and I'm not going to put a timescale on when he's going to return. But what I have been told is that United continue to work with Jadon Sancho to get him back on the pitch as quickly as possible. And I'm told that he's got the full support of the club to get into that peak condition, both physically and mentally. As I said, no timescale on his return, but United are in action quite soon now. I know we're saying that Boxing Day is the return of the Premier League. It's actually the League Cup when United are back in action. So this time next week, Manchester United face Burnley in the last 16 of the Carabao Cup. It's very unlikely that Sancho will be involved in that. He's been training away from the first team squad in the Netherlands with coaches that have been recommended by Erik ten Hag.
OK, so United may be active in the January transfer window. There are teams that sometimes always seem active in the transfer window. West Ham, we'd probably say, is one of those. There's always something going on. A couple of things bubbling away behind the scenes for West Ham?
Yeah, this is something that Sky Germany were reporting on earlier on this year, and that's Bayer Leverkusen remain interested in the right-back Vladimir Coufal. That's the information that I'm getting still. Add to that, I'm told today that 2 unnamed Premier League clubs are also just keeping an eye on Vladimir Coufal's situation as well. He's got a contract until 2024. The club have an option for a further year. While he remains committed to West Ham United while he's under contract there, he is frustrated by the amount of game time he's had so far this season. He's started 7 Premier League games this season. His last start was way back in mid-October. Now, it is thought that West Ham United would listen to concrete offers for Vladimir Coufal, but, and it is a big but, they're reluctant to release any of their defensive players because of the injuries that they have in the defensive areas. Kurt Zouma is out for a little while, we've been told, and also Naya Figued is out there with Morocco, but he's currently injured. It'd be interesting to see whether he's going to play any kind of part in the semi-final against France this evening. Another line to bring you is the Sao Paulo defender, Luizão. He had a medical earlier on this week with West Ham. He's expected to join West Ham in January on a 3.5-year deal, but he's seen as one for the future. So he's expected to be in the development squad rather than the first team full squad just now.
OK. Fantastic, Dharmesh. Thank you very much indeed for the moment. Well, Dharmesh was telling us there about Jadon Sancho's situation. Just reflecting a little bit more on that, former United defender Mikel Silvestre told us that he respects the way that the forward has handled being dropped by Erik ten Hag and not being in that starting 11. But Silvestre says that if United want the best out of Sancho, he needs the right support.
Most of the time when players are facing their back against the wall, the temptation is to just, OK, find me a move and I will rediscover my form, but I think he has the right attitude and also the right entourage to make sure he's fighting for his position. It's just, you know, in football it goes quick. You're on the bench one weekend, the next you can come in and score the winner and rediscover your confidence and build up your mental again. So I think we need to support him like the club has been doing over the years. With other players, you know, he's young, and yeah, probably not being with England at the World Cup was another disappointment for him. But I think he has a lot to play for and a lot of qualities for Manchester United.